Surprise, surprise. We are not here on a Thursday to recap, but we are here Friday. We did have to reschedule this last minute, Coach. We're just so busy. I mean, again, we're not here just on the screen trying to tell you about business. We are really in it. Coach has a few exciting things going on. I had a crazy week with training, have an AR, got involved with one of our brands here at Loyalty Brands, Zuma Grooming. So we are going to be opening in Cleveland. So it's just been a crazy week. Coach, glad to see you in the hotel. So he is in a hotel. He's going to be leaving quick, just as Coach is. So Coach is busy. So if you want to reach out and you see how busy he is, but you got him here and you have him here every twice a week.
Still reach out, man. Still reach out. It's all good.
Yes, please reach out. But Coach, tell us, how's your week been? How's everything going?
It's been good. Kind of last minute on Wednesday, an opportunity arose to get to spend a little time with the CEO of a $1 billion company, and it's hard to say no to that. So I flew to Costa Mesa, California, and spent about an hour yesterday with a really good meeting. And it's always fun just to watch how someone at that level operates, how they think, how they work. Or even though it was a small group of us, just to watch him work the room was kind of fun. So just a really good time, but it was a quick trip. So came out yesterday, going back to the East Coast tonight, because tomorrow is my 33rd wedding anniversary. So I've got to get home for that, right?
What? Congratulations, 33 years. So what's the secret? Well, one piece of advice. So we are not a marriage show, but I think we are a very deep show that's trying to just help with relationships. One piece of advice for 33 years. Well,
have a very, very, very forgiving wife that will love you unconditionally, no matter how goofy you are or what you do, and that helps a lot.
Well, guys, there it is, guys. The secret for 33 years of marriage: have a very forgiving wife.
I'll give you one more secret before we get to the opening here. The other secret is, because a lot of people give me you married up and all that sort of thing. You outkicked your coverage and all that sort of thing. Well, the way you can outkick your coverage is I met my wife when we were in first grade together. So we've known each other since we were 6. And when I was 6, I was cute as could be, man. I was right there. So you got to hook them early before life hits and takes everything away.
Oh, Coach, Gregory, that was great. That was good. So get them while you're still, I guess, very cute is what we'll say. That's
as cute as a speckled puppy back then, but something happened in the meantime.
Well, congratulations again. Yeah, hopefully trip goes smooth. You're back to your wife, and congratulations, miss. Well, we're going to get this started because, again, we did have our guest, Felipe Martinez of Estrella Insurance. It's so great to have him on. I learned so much from just having him on that we really just want to dive in and get into the nuts and bolts of it. Coach has the whiteboard. We might talk a little bit about attitude. We are big here on attitude. So, again, and that was one thing that Felipe was very big on, was hire for attitude and train the skill, which is a great one of John Hewitt's, one of my favorite quotes of John Hewitt. Higher attitude, train skill. You can always train the skill. So, well, anything else before we get this started, Coach?
Now let's kick it off. Let's get rolling.
All right, let's do it.
You get one heartbeat song. Take it seriously. This is your masterpiece. Don't forget to dream and taste the colors in the air you breathe. It's your masterpiece. Go ahead and feel it all. Don't stop till it is beautiful. Don't stop till it is beautiful. Don't stop till it is beautiful.
All right. So I got to give a shout out. So our opening song, Coach, I think, and I don't know if I shared this with you, so I'm sharing this live, everybody, for Coach to see too. But so me and Maggie got so lucky. So Andy Grammer, he's who, shout out Andy, but he's who has that song in the beginning that we play and the song at the end. but he did not play. So Andy just did a tour, and he was at Virginia Beach on Wednesday. It was amazing. Free concert. It was packed. The vibe was amazing. People were amazing. But I'll tell you, Coach, I think I figured out why we're not getting digged yet. He didn't play either of those two songs. So, but he did play a bunch of great, amazing songs. It was amazing. He sang "Happy Birthday" to one of the guests, that it was their birthday. One of the guests we were in line with, they danced, and their whole wedding was Andy Grammer songs. So he actually sang the song that they danced to while they were dancing. It was amazing. It was crazy. So, guys, Andy Grammer loves the New Money tour. That's and his shirt. The shirt he was giving out was called Hug Dealer, not Drug Dealer, which I love.
Nice.
So Hug Dealer. So give those hugs, y'all. But we got some people already here. So Facebook user, I don't know who you are. Share who you are. Morning, brothers. That might be the one and only Logistics Monk. I have a feeling. But happy Friday. Happy Friday. And then my wife, some great advice. Appreciate similarities, respect the differences. That is our key. And probably, Coach, would you say that probably helped in the past 33 years as well?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's you know what marriage is all about. It's a whole lot of downtime of just living together, and so it really pays to like the other person a lot. You've got to really want to live with somebody, for a lot of years.
Oh, you have to like them? I thought you just get on a team and you're just a team that all of a sudden.
No, everybody gets caught up in, I love, but love is sometimes confused, man. It's the like, because it's those moments like now that we're empty nesters. It's those moments of just sitting. This is how old I am. I bought a two-seater love seat recliner, so we sit together and just watch TV and enjoy time together in a quiet home. And if you can be happy doing that, I think that goes a long way.
Amen. Well, that's the key to being happy with yourself too, right? You have to be happy in the alone times when you're by yourself, and you can be alone and you can be happy. And you're not in your brain too much, you're onto something. So figure that out.
Yeah.
Feed the good wolf.
Feed the good wolf.
Just keep feeding them. But we got a lot of people. Thank you all. Good morning to you. Another Facebook. I don't know why Facebook's not linking. I'm sorry, guys. It's not showing the names, but I was right about the one user. The monk is in the house. What's up? What's going on? And then we got one more. And then we'll get started. Greg.
Maybe Friday is our day.
It might be Friday. This might be the time. 9 a.m. Friday. Let us know. Hey, anybody who's live out there, if you like to catch us and this is a better time, let us know. I mean, we're here really just to help. So, and then my wife. I'm sitting on our 2-seat recliner right now. We have one of those too, Coach. Oddly enough, right? No, there's no similarities there. Crazy. Fun Day Fridays. Yes. And that's what we're here to do. So Fun Day Friday, again, usually we break this down on Thursdays. We did have an amazing guest, Felipe Martinez with Estrella Insurance. If you didn't catch it, be sure and check the replay on our YouTube channel. It's there forever. Robinhood Capitalists. So Coach, let's get into, so I didn't know first, before we even dive into some of the stuff from some of the questions we got from Cast Magic, anybody out there doing a podcast, reach out. Let me tell you all about this amazing product. It's crazy. This is where it's a lot easier to break down shows on Thursday when you're able to pop in a video and it gives you some amazing questions that AI pulls out of that video. So
also easier to prep when you can drop a video from the person that you're interviewing and it dissects that for you as well and gets to know them, and gives, when your pre-call is a lot easier when you've got the magic behind it.
Coach, you're giving our secret. No, yes, and Coach is absolutely right. Yeah, pre-videos. Again, anybody who is a host doing this, anybody who's thinking about doing podcasting, we weren't going to go this way, but we'll go this way. If you are thinking of doing this, I mean, Cast Magic really will make your life so much easier. So if you are out there watching this right now, please reach out. I give you all the details, but it is amazing stuff, and it does help with your guest, especially if they have any videos living out there in the YouTube world or anything like that. It definitely makes life easier.
It's magic.
It is magic, cast magic. Man, wait, when do we get a plug? Where's our sponsor? Cast Magic, come on. Anyways, so
yeah, this portion of Robinhood Capitalists was brought to you
by Cast Magic, just in case. Thanks, Coach. That was good. See, Coach is the pro, and you always need, guys. This is where I'll give you advice too. If you're thinking of doing this and you're afraid, like I am still, I've been doing it for a year and a half, but I get scared to death when I'm on my alone. When you got a mentor and coach like that, just find them and try to get them to do it with you. It makes this a lot easier too. But again, so getting into Estrella, I didn't know that your dad had a background in the insurance industry. So you have a very close understanding. Where was he on the points with? Was there a lot of similarities to what Felipe was mentioning with the success of it and your dad's journey?
Yes. So the biggest difference is he was with a company that was a captive agent system. So he had the one. You remember when Felipe said that sometimes you've only got one company that you can write from. That's the kind of system he was in. So he was a captive agent. North Carolina Farm Bureau, shout out to North Carolina Farm Bureau. They provided a great life and living for us. And so that was the big difference. So with Estrella, what you get is you get the ability to write in multiple companies, and so you can really customize to fit the needs. So whereas a captive agent may have a tough time doing something like a high risk driver or certain situations like he talked about, with Estrella, you've got the option to pretty much open up that door for anybody that you want to work with.
Now, would you say, because that's again one of the questions from Cast Magic. Magic is real, guys. But one of the questions from there was, how does Estrella Insurance differentiate itself from other insurances with working and serving a blue collar working class population? Would you say that's a great kind of one of those nuggets that is a big differentiator that helps them is being able to shop from a pool instead of just one?
Yeah, I think so. And the other thing that, when you look at their history and you start to learn about where they've been and where they're going, that market segment has been a big part of their growth. And so that's it was kind of a niche. But, when we talk to him, we can see that now they're opening up to others, not just that one particular market segment. So he's talked about business owners and business insurance and other lines. And so, yeah, having the flexibility to write pretty much any situation that comes through the door is really powerful.
Well, and I think with that, I always like that. I worked I never did insurance, although man, they recruited me like crazy. But I did in home improvements when there was options, and you can, instead of just trying to force a customer into a certain, maybe you're a high-end luxury window and there's only one, but having like a good, better, best, and then giving them some options, I think that just really is such an advantage to now you're more on a team with your customer, because you're not just trying to sell them what you have, but you're really trying to fit their needs. Would you say that's probably the best advantage?
Well, and we talked about it on the call too. We both pointed out that he mentioned relationships. At the end of the day, insurance is a very important part of our life. Insurance can protect all of your assets. It can keep you from losing everything in a terrible accident or something. And so insurance is really important for all of us. And yet a lot of times, we're kind of encouraged to take the cheapest way out and just find whatever online version or option is out there that's going to be the cheapest way out. I'm a firm believer that just like I think everybody needs a coach, I think everybody needs legal help, I think everyone needs financial help, and I think everyone needs an insurance agent that love and trust, that you can go to, that can help you. Because what we should all do every year is what we would call an insurance review, where we just review what coverages do I have, what liability limits am I currently running, am I properly protecting my assets and my family to make sure that I'm not going to get in a position. What a really good agent will do is they will come and and basically, I don't think force is the right word, but will strongly encourage you to do that review. And it's important that you take that time to do the review, because again, one simple slip up, and if you're not properly covered, it can ruin everything.
I'm so glad you went into that, and I had a feeling you would. Again, I think we get trapped, and there are certain things where the lowest price is, but again, there's three things that any company can control: price, speed, or quality. You only get two though. So if it's fast and cheap, it's not going to be good. If it's good and cheap, it's not going to be fast. There's all those variables that come into it that I don't think people realize when they're and insurance, like you're saying. Being the home improvement background, another one of our brands, CR3, they do a lot with roofing and solar. Their primary interest is roofing coverage. Had a bunch of friends on Facebook in Ohio. They just had a crazy hailstorm out there. That's where we would be. I did that, but we'd be going out and insurance. Let me tell you, what he's talking about, guys, could be the difference of getting a brand new roof or 2% of the total value of your home, or having the right coverage because you're working with somebody directly, an agent who is diving deep in there and figuring out just to make sure you're covered. Because again, what Coach is saying, the cheapest, usually they're pulling out something, and having somebody that you have a relationship with, somebody close to you, somebody you like, know, and trust, like you mentioned, they're going to look out for your best interest. And it might not be price, but in the end of the day, it's going to be the coverage that just in case something happens.
And we'll use car insurance as an example. If you're just calling around pricing, the cheapest price is probably going to come with the lowest coverage, and it may not be the coverage that you need to protect your family, your assets. And we know how quickly medical bills can add up. And so if you're running minimum coverages, minimum liabilities on your car insurance, that's a risk. It's a very big risk that you're taking. And if you're not careful, if all you're doing is just getting quotes and you take the lowest quote, it may not be what you need. And so having someone, again, that you can trust, like someone from Estrella, that can sit down and show you, this is why we quoted what we did. This is what we believe is best, because let us show you why this is what works for you. Man, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Again, being in BNI, just working and working closely with the insurance deals of the roofing and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of things, y'all, that just going on the internet. Again, there's certain things that it's nice and easy to just go on the internet. Amazon, sure, you're ordering your next thing from Amazon, just hop on there. But insurance, make sure you're talking to somebody and really diving deep into what you need and what's going to cover you. Again,
tell your friends.
That's just a PSA for everybody.
Well, and I'll give you another one. Tell your friends from the hailstorm to beware of the roofing storm chasers.
Oh, storm chasers!
There's some charlatans out there in that side of things too.
Oh, it's again, but that's the world. We just what Coach is talking about, you all might have experienced, especially a big enough storm. You'll see 10 companies from different states. They're not even from that state, and they're showing up, and they are blanketing everywhere, trying to talk you into a new roof through them. Be careful. Same thing.
Yeah, they'll take your money and keep your roof, because you will never see them again if you're not careful.
Stay local. Trust your community. Reach out to your community. Go to BNI. Go to things like that. You'll find the right people there. So I just seen this comment. Might be the monk, but thank you for this. It says you guys have been crushing it. Thanks, Ryan.
I like it. Might be the monk.
Might be the monk. Might be the logistics monk. I don't know. I think we have another user out there. So besides Ryan. So all right. Well, so Coach, we did talk, and we really, of course, both of us lit up big time when we talked about attitude, and when Felipe really went to attitude and relationships. So I want to get into relationships first, because I know we're going to break out the whiteboard for attitude, because I'm excited to kind of get into that. But the one thing he talked about with relationships was, so he compares, we're here. So and again, guys, these are questions straight from Cast Magic, but Felipe compares franchising to a marriage, highlights the importance of a strong connection for long-term success, how does his company ensure that potential investors are a good match for the company? But then also, what factors should individuals consider when determining if franchising is the right fit for them? So first, I want to go to really the second part of the question, which is what would you say would be your advice to somebody looking into franchising? What factors would you, just looking into franchising, to know that franchising is the right choice for them?
Yeah, well, I'm a huge fan of franchising. I've been in it for a long time now. I personally like the idea of having someone else create a system that I can do my best to follow instead of trying to learn from my own mistakes. I get to learn from theirs. So, I'm a big fan. But we talked about doing the due diligence in our last recap when you're looking into a franchise. And a big part of everything you do in life is just having clarity of who you are and what you want to do. So again, when I started looking for a new franchise for myself, I didn't stick with any one industry because I never would have chosen taxes, and that turned out to change my life for the better. And so that taught me a lesson. What I knew about myself was I enjoyed the growth period. So I wanted an emerging franchise. I wanted home-based. I had certain metrics that were going to match me and help me succeed. As it turned out, I went with what was my natural fit, which is coaching and training, and found my home with Focal Point. But what really spoke to me when I started doing the due diligence, and I investigated all of them equally, but with Focal Point, the culture, the values, the mission statement, all of it resonated with me, and I could see myself being a part of that family, and that meant a lot to me. But for someone who's just getting into it, there's lots of books out there, books like Street Smart Franchising and The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, and lots of books that we recommend. So when I've got people that come to me and say, I'm thinking about this, I'm really thinking about maybe investigating a franchise, normally what I'll do is I'll either give or recommend a couple of books like that to get started, to get them thinking. And then after that, I'm a fan of having a broker to help, a reputable broker through someone like a FranChoice that I have a lot of faith in. My buddy Andy Banker, who's there, he helped me a lot through that process. And I think our next guest is going to represent them well. Yeah. FranChoice. But they have a catalog, and what they'll do for you is they'll kind of give you one of our personality behavior assessment type tests, and then look for a match. Here's where it looks as though you would be a really good fit. Here's 5 or 6 options. Once you get the 5 or 6 options, then it's up to you to go do the work and just figure out where you're going to best fit. And you may be shocked at what it is, because it may be an industry you're like, man, I never thought about this before, but I think this is the right.
I love that you went there, because our next guest. So little surprise for Coach, but next guest tweak. So shout out Patrick Michael Donahue. He was going to be for Tuesday. His surgery got pushed up. He's dealing with some medical things, so prayers for you. But surgery got moved to Tuesday, so he will be, or actually Monday, I think. So he's recovering Tuesday. So he will actually be our guest on the 1st with FranChoice. So Patrick Michael Donahue will be on the 1st, but actually we have David. Why am I forgetting his last name now? I have so many Davids that I know. David Koch. So David, and my name's David too, but David Koch from Family Locator. He's going to be actually on Tuesday to share his journey. Very similar. So he went IT. He was IT background, corporate world, empty nester. Said, I hate what I'm doing. I want to do something different. And so he totally out of IT went to Family Locator, which we'll have him on Tuesday to share more about that. But yeah, it's very similar, and he did the same thing, and that would be my suggestion, and anybody coming to me. So franchise development is what I'm doing here at Loyalty Brands now. So anybody coming to me, I want to know what you love to do and what you enjoy to do, and I solely try to find that first, what your passion or your habit is, because for me, I feel like if we can match your franchise, your business, your whatever you do to something you truly enjoy doing, there's always going to be a time in business where it's going to suck, especially in the beginning. Like, it's going to hurt, it's going to suck. Like there is no magic. You don't just talking to, my partners from Pups and Pints. Shout out to Christina and Alex. But you don't just become a business owner, flip on a light and like everything. So anybody coming from the corporate world, I mean, there's not a team when you're starting this on your own. So a franchise is kind of like that cheat code, at least to me, of having that team and not having to do it on your own. And that's why I would recommend franchising to anybody.
Well,
I did the solo way.
So you're in a unique position at Loyalty, because you do have an entire suite of franchises, franchisors, and you can help match somebody much like a broker would do. So even though you're a franchise rep with Loyalty, you're acting as a broker because you're matching to the right spot. So it's pretty unique that you're in that position.
Yeah, it is. And it's fun. And it's amazing because, again, it really is just trying to make somebody's dream. I think our post said it, but our mission really is just creating heaven on earth. And I truly believe doing what you love with who you love is heaven on earth. And so
I'm going to go off camera for just a second and shut the blinds. The sun is coming up now, and I'm getting a big glare blinding me off the camera.
No worries. Go ahead, Coach. We'll actually go ahead. I'll pop you in the back, and we will just go solo for a second. So what's up, y'all? So one of the other things we did talk about, and a question that I will get back into, and I know Coach could hear me while he's doing what he's doing back there. But so so Felipe mentioned that insurance experience is not required for this business opportunity, and that the most important qualities for success are a good attitude and sales experience. So he talks about good attitude and sales experience. He said nothing about insurance. He also went on, and this also goes on to say, why do you think these qualities are more important than prior insurance experience? And how does his company's training program prepare franchisees for success? So we'll bring Coach back up and we'll break down that first part. But really, so Coach, why do you think these qualities are more important than prior insurance experience? Sales background and a good attitude.
Well, we've both seen it in the businesses we've been in. You get somebody that comes to you, regardless of the business you're in, and they come to you and their resume says they have 6 years of experience. And your first thought is, hallelujah, I've got somebody that's going to know what they're doing. And so you bring them on board and you put them to work, and they can't do anything. They didn't really have 6 years of experience. They just had 6 years of time served, and that's a whole different thing. And so really it's, if I can have somebody that comes in and they are reasonably competent, but their attitude is phenomenal, I'm all on board for the good attitude over the quote unquote experience. Obviously somebody can come to you that bring both, which that's your golden nugget there if you can get somebody that brings both. But I fell for that trap so many times. And even when you go in, let's say you're going to go into a situation where you're buying a business and you're inheriting some of the people. It's never the people you let go that cause the problem. It's the people you keep that are just not going to have the attitude that's your culture that you want. And so you have to make some tough choices even when you come into an existing business as a buyer. But man, it's so important. I'm not going to sit here and say attitude is everything. I know that's the title of a book that I loved and from a speaker that I loved. But I'm more on the John Maxwell side of things. He says that attitude may not be everything, but it is the difference maker. So all other things being equal, if you give me somebody that's got a really, really strong attitude versus someone that doesn't matter what their skills are at that point. The one who has the better attitude is going to rise to the top.
Every time. I love that you said this. So I'm putting this up there. 6 years of time served. That's amazing. Like if they're not getting the true experience, it's just time served. And that really is, guys, if you feel like you're at somewhere and that's what all you're doing is serving time, franchising might be the choice for you. Or just give us a shout out. We'd love to just see if it might be a good fit. I love that you said that because I've been in sales my whole life, and I've seen and sat next to college degree people who had philosophy degrees and this degree and journalism and this and that and all these different things, and they end up in sales. And the ones that who I knew right from the beginning who was gonna stay or do well, because of their attitude. It was nothing else. It wasn't the schooling. It wasn't anything in the background. It was just their attitude. They were willing to learn. They were ready, and they just believed. I think part of it is, and I think that's probably the biggest missed thing. Besides attitude, it's the leadership has to have the understanding and the management that your team has to always know that you believe. You can't just tell people to do stuff and not truly believe it. And in the end, it comes out. And in the end, there's a great song that talks about talking with the silver tongue, and you're pretty much talking with the silver tongue if you don't believe it, but you're trying to get other people to believe it. And so, you got to believe what you're. And so, if you're part of a leadership team and you're feeling like, my employees it's a revolving door. They keep wanting to leave. Well, that could be it. If you don't believe, they probably don't believe, or they end up smelling that on you eventually. So might be time to find a new fit too. And that was really my journey. For the longest time, I struggled because being in sales, especially commission sales, most of the time with smaller franchises, it was as soon as I felt like there was no belief, it didn't matter how good of an attitude I came in with. It flipped really fast because I didn't feel like I felt like they were setting me up to do something that they weren't willing to do themselves. And that's one thing, advice that I would give to anybody. Whenever you're reaching out to a professional, if they don't, like Coach said, he has a coach for his mind, he has a coach for his business, he has 3 different coaches, and he's a coach. If they're not using services like them themselves, or they're not using their own services even more, it's one of the greatest advices I got from Rich Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, is ask them if they're doing it first. If they're not doing it, they're just selling you. And there's a whole difference there, but you got to believe. And that's what I think. Besides the attitude is the belief has to always stay there. Otherwise, game over. At least for people like me.
Yeah, well, and what's the old saying? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so the attitude is what can help you during the darker times to see the positive and to see the good and to keep the spirit where it needs to be. So the attitude in so many ways keeps you thinking on that higher vibrational frequency of good.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. So I'm trying to see if there's any other good questions on here to talk about. Well, I guess this one. So Estrella Insurance has been around for a while, and obviously, like your marriage, they're about the same. I think he said 30 years, so you said 33. But so he highlights.
I think he actually said 40, 42 or 3, 42 or 3.
Well, they picked up 30 for some reason. But yeah, I think you're right. I think actually it is 40 because I think that started in 1980 or 81 or something like that. Somewhere around there.
That wasn't that long ago, was it?
Yeah, it was. It sure was. I was born in 1980. But so he highlights, though, the long-term growth potential in the insurance industry. Mentions some agencies have been around for over 30 plus years and still experiencing annual increases. What do you think contributes? And I think he did highlight it, and it's the last thing we really want to go into before we go back into attitude, but is relationship. I truly believe it's the relationship and building relationship. But what do you think, and how can franchisees build a successful legacy business like in the insurance industry that could last and have a book that's still growing 30 or 40 years from now?
Yeah, well, it definitely is about relationships. And we've talked about this too, regardless of what your business is. And why don't you go with the attitude of, I'm not just going to be a business that happens to have an address within this community. I'm going to go in and be a business that is a vital part of the community. When you go in, and what a lot of insurance folks I've seen through the years will do, that's a big mistake. They'll join a lot of, the Lions Club, the Ruritan's Club, whatever it is. They join all these things. They show up one time, they give out business cards and think that they've done their marketing and they've served. And that's not what it's about. Go to those same organizations and serve, volunteer, be a part of things, let people get to know you. My dad is a phenomenal salesman. He had a great career. And there were times when it was getting to that point where you kind of need to make a sale, there were always people that would help just to help him, whether they really necessarily needed it or not, all because of the relationship. And he totally built that business on the relationships through the community. It was so good that, I could go out, to there was not a town very close. So the closest town was 21 miles away, but I could go to that town and do something silly, and there was people there that knew him well enough that would overlook it and let me slide by because of his relationship building. So it'll get you a long way in what you do, but that's how you keep growing. When you've helped others, and Zig Ziglar says that if you help enough other people get what they want, then that's when you'll start to get what it is that you want. And that's kind of what that relationship building does. So it's not about just building a relationship because I want to get. It's about building that relationship to give. So when we're building a business, when we go into community marketing, we don't just go in and say, hey, DJ, I want you to do this for me.
Mm-hmm.
We go in and say, hey, DJ, we've just opened up in this community. We really want to help other business owners thrive. What can we do to help you? And we do it with all sincerity. It's not just empty words to try to get you to do something for me. Whatever we promise we're going to do, we do. And you build those relationships over time. A book that we did a study on a long time ago was called The Brand Who Cried Wolf. I think the name was Scott Deming of the author.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
Basically, every chapter starts out with like a fairy tale fable type story, and then he has a business interest about it. But the way he described the type of marketing that we do locally, he said our goal is to build a network of evangelists. And I like that he chose that word evangelist. But he goes, what you want is a network of people who are out there evangelizing on behalf of you and your business because they know, like, and trust you. That's what that type of relationship marketing can do for you.
Well, and that's the power of franchising, guys. If you do get involved with most franchises or franchise systems, or even, starting your own business. Typically, you're starting your own business. You're starting right in your backyard, in your neck of the woods, in your neighborhood. So, what getting involved in the community as much as possible is going to be so crucial. But I think besides the relationships like you're talking about, they think from, and again, so. And that's been really, I've been blessed to have a lot of people that just from building a lot of relationships in sales that I needed some help, and they might have probably helped me out and I didn't need it. Like Coach is saying, but even more than that is the referrals and that evangelist side where they're really, you go above and beyond for your customer, for your client, and again, that you're going to know because they're going to tell everybody about you. So
and a referral is more likely to buy, they're more likely to be retained over time, and they're more likely to refer someone else. Yep. So referred business is really powerful when you're building your business.
Oh, absolutely. Referral should be your go-to always. Way easier to cold call a referral or warm call, really, because it's an intro than have to cold call a new client. So again, I think a lot of people screw up in business there. They forget their customers that they've already taken care of, and especially their happy customers who are giving them reviews, who are repeat customers. Go back to them and say, hey, man, you love what we're doing. What are we doing? It seems like we can't thank you enough for all of the you're shouting us out here. You're talking like, what are we doing that you love so much, and how can we help more people that you know? And they might, maybe it's referrals. Maybe they're not even thinking of referrals. Most people don't think of referrals when they're talking your business up, because a lot of people, again, aren't a business owner or aren't in the mindset to think of how crucial referrals could be for a small business. But that's
now circling this back to franchising, in addition to the relationship side of things, which obviously I believe is very important. The great thing about a franchise is you've got other franchisees that are out there. They're kind of like little labs. They're trying things, they're learning things, we're sharing information. So you don't have to figure it all out on your own, and you don't have to be the one to put all of your resources and capital into a test, because we've got other people testing things you can share. And you've also got a franchisor who, if they are good and doing their job, they're staying on the cutting edge of the technology that needs to back you up, marketing techniques, social media, all the things that are out there. So a good franchisor is doing a lot of that thinking for you that helps you continue to grow for 30 plus years. Because again, on my own, it's really tough. Just think about social media alone. If you go out right now and say, I want to have a great social media marketing platform, and you just Google it, well, there's 14 million years worth of information on stuff that you can do. How do you discern what is best?
What works?
But I've got a team of people on the other side of the franchisor that's doing that for me. And are they going to be 100%? No, because they're human. Everybody's going to have a hit and a miss. But I feel more comfortable in a team of people and a group of franchisees being the test bed than just me trying to figure out everything on my own.
Exactly. Let me tell you, because I did that before getting into this, and that was really hard. It's very hard.
Well, you can spend all of your time, you feel like you're being very productive because you research. You feel like I'm really getting somewhere, but you never do anything with it because you get overwhelmed and paralyzed from all the data and all the stuff.
Or you research enough that you realize you need a team of people like that comes with the franchise, and you're like, hold on, shoot, it's just me. Oh, no. Yeah, that's. That's why I'm here. I love everything about franchise, but I'm a team person, and that's one thing Matt talked about on our episode was, team players are great for franchising. If you're not a team player, if you're one of those solo running gunners, shout out to any of my Call of Duty people, but you're a solo running gunner. You're out there just, listen, props to you. Go take it on yourself. But I'm a team player. I love to be involved in a team, having other people. And shout out to the movie The Founder. But anybody who wants to just see what Coach was talking about with having other franchisees, especially franchisees who think bigger. The movie The Founder of Ray Kroc about McDonald's, the franchisee that I think he ends up stealing his wife, or at least that seems like the story of the movie. But his wife, very clearly a go-getter in Seattle or wherever they were. I forget where they were. But she came up with the milkshake idea and the powdered milkshake or whatever. So if you ever seen that movie, she comes up with powdered milkshake because of the expense that's killing every franchisee across the board, which was their walk-in coolers. And so, again, just having people that are always constantly testing, like Coach talked about, that are little labs. We got
the Big Mac also came from a franchisee, not from corporate.
Sure did, yeah.
So the whole McDonald's story, this is a little outside of our discussion today, but it's also a great lesson in leadership. Whatever, as the leader, your level of leadership is the lid that's going to determine how far your business can go. And the McDonald brothers had a defined lid. They had a limited vision. They had a limited way of thinking. They were a little bit scarcity thinkers versus abundance thinkers, and they had built a phenomenal system. They had built a really good concept, but they could only take it so far because of their own ability to lead. Once a stronger leader came in and Ray Kroc and took it over, then all of a sudden they sold more hamburgers than anybody in the history of the world, right? So when we give advice here to work on yourself as a leader and become a better leader, it's not hot air that we're blowing. It is a learnable skill. It is a process. But if you want to go further in your own life, start with your own ability to lead and influence, and that'll go further than just about anything.
I couldn't have said it better. I agree 1,000,000%. Yeah. Again, finding good, I maybe have been a great team player on some team. Now my vision, the way I think I probably was meant to bounce around as much as I did, but with a great leader, I mean, any great leader that I worked for, Revive Wireless, I was a regional manager for 6-7 years there. I don't know how long it was, but amazing leader. I mean, he believed and he gave me the tools and the guidance, and it wasn't a dictatorship where he was sitting behind the desk telling, but it was again, just leading the way. And so leaders will make a huge difference in your team and your success. So if you're trying to get into business, you better become the leader you always wanted.
So back to attitude real quick. My role yesterday was unusual for me. My role yesterday was to be the realist. And you know what we think about the realist. It was my job to poke holes in the proposals that were coming out and that sort of thing. And I'm totally not suited for that. I'm capable, but I'm not suited for it at all.
Yeah, you'll find this.
I think the best in everything is it was really hard to turn that off. Like, oh man, that's really great, and turn that down just a bit.
Oh, well, obviously, I'm the same. Everything's there's some silver lining somewhere. There is something good in everything. So yeah, I agree. Do you want to get to the whiteboard, or you want to go into any more questions? We got about looks like 15 minutes.
Well, we can do the right whiteboard real quick. We'll talk about, since we've talked so much about attitude, let's talk a little science behind attitude and to back up how important this is.
All right, y'all. So coach is bringing out the whiteboard for you.
So a lot of times I do this with the group. So the pressure's on you to give me a good handful of examples here, and we haven't really rehearsed this, so we'll see how it goes. But when we're building a team, whether we're building a team as a franchisor bringing in franchisees or a franchisee bringing in people, what we're looking for is we're looking for our best possible chance at success. And so if you were looking for attributes that you were going to bring in of a person that you wanted to bring onto your team, what attributes would you think they would need to truly be successful?
So coachable, obviously, it would be for me. Is one. Team player, especially if they're going to be on a team. There's somewhat their experience, their background. They trouble. They I can't think of the word. Troubleshoot. They're good at problem solving.
Yeah, problem solver.
There we go. What else? So, of course, attitude, but we talked about that. I would say their passion they have a passion, or at least some sort of a drive for what they want to do, for what they're doing. Whatever team I'm hiring them for. They can take criticism. So candor, sincere candor is one of my non-negotiables. And for me, one of my big emphasis on my last non-negotiable, grand ambition. They have to see the world as big and crazy as I do. Otherwise, I just look like a maniac talking the crazy ideas I talk about.
So that's a good. What do we got there?
9,
8 or 9 there. So that's a good starting point. So the good news here is there's science to back this thing up. So the Carnegie Institute, they did a study, and what they did is they talked to CEOs and very successful people, and the question was, just like I posed to you, what are the key attributes that would be needed for success? So I'm going to come over here, draw us a little triangle, because they identified three things that were key for somebody's success. First thing they identified were skills, then knowledge, and then attitude. And those were the three things that the leaders came up and said, if I'm bringing somebody in, I'm looking for somebody that's going to succeed. These are three things that I need. So the question I would have for you now is, what percentage, because let's give a percentage to all three of these things. What percentage do you think of the leaders listed the skill set that they bring as being very important to success?
What percentage would I guess that they said, or what do I think?
Yeah. What do you think what do you think? What do you think? How important are skills?
Skills is probably the lowest out of the three for me. Knowledge would be a little bit more, but attitude's probably the most, is by far the most for me.
So when we're talking skills, are we talking 20%? Give me a percentage out of 100.
Yeah. Okay. So 20% skill, maybe 30% knowledge, and then 50% attitude.
So again, the good thing is we've got the science to back it up. When it came down to it,
what was it?
Skills and knowledge together.
No, I love it.
Attitude was 85% of what it's going to take for someone. So now, we can trust the science or not, but let's kind of look at your list of things that you were looking for. Would we say that coachable, is that a skill, a knowledge, or is that an attitude?
Attitude.
Is a team player skills, knowledge, or attitude?
Attitude.
Experience. We can probably put that as skills or knowledge.
Yeah.
Problem solver, good problem solver.
That's a good mix, but probably more attitude, because
so we can give it a little skill there too, because there's some skill to a problem. But I agree, it takes a good problem solver. Back in my days of running a tech support group, we had one of those 360 reviews going around on my superior. But the guy that was doing the review came to me. He goes, "Are you just a naturally positive person? Because you're the only person that said anything good about this guy." And I was like, well, my answer back to him was like, well, if you're not in this business, when you spend your whole day solving other people's problems, if you don't have a good attitude, you probably go crazy.
Yeah, right.
And so attitude is there. So I guess we can know that that's an A.
Yeah.
Passion, drive, attitude, skill, or not.
Attitude.
Can take criticism.
That's going to be attitude.
Ambitious.
That's attitude.
So anytime I do this, regardless of how big the group is, it doesn't matter. The results are always the same. The results from the group, the results from you, they always match this Carnegie Institute study that showed that attitude is really the key ingredient for whether someone is going to truly be successful or not. Because if you could bring in the most skillful person at whatever your business is, they could be the most skillful. Let's say that you're running a fitness studio, and let's just say that you've got a cycle bar, for example. You can bring in the absolute greatest bike rider that's ever been. You can have Lance Armstrong riding your bike if you so choose. But if they can't connect with the people and bring people in that want to ride the bike in that setting, then they're not really helping you. And even worse, if they are a bad attitude and a cancer, then they're hurting the entire team. They're stunting your growth, keeping you from growing. And so skills are important, but man, one bad attitude can turn everything around. There's some people like DJ, when you walk into a room, it's like you just light up the room. There's other people that are not like you, that when they walk in the room, they go around and blow out everybody's candle. So you can't have that person on your team.
Well, they do say one bad apple spoils the bunch, right?
Yes. So attitude is really the difference maker.
There's some truth to that. Anything left with the whiteboard? You want me to put that away?
Yeah, I think we could put that away. That's pretty good.
That was.
I apologize for the handwriting. It's the best I can do.
That was amazing. Thank you for doing that. I've never seen that, and I love that, and I agree completely. I've seen and worked with so many different people, and you can tell right away who's going to be or have a little advantage just by attitude, just by their attitude. To me, it always felt like, at least to this point in life, it felt like it was an advantage. Having anybody who had the right attitude, even if they didn't have the background, they didn't come from that, they were, at least if I trained them or seen them trained or were on another team, they were pretty successful just because of the attitude alone.
Yeah, and we're both generally pretty happy people, but when we say somebody with a good attitude, we don't mean they have to always be happy, because nobody's always happy. We just want someone that's going to live as a victor more often than they live as a victim. And because we all shift between that line, we just want people who are going to live and not blame others, not make excuses. We want people who are going to go in there that really, that they don't really have anything to prove other than I'm gonna make the best of this. Whatever the event is, I'm gonna respond in a way that makes it better, not worse. That's the attitude we're looking for. You don't always have to laugh and smile and do that sort of thing like we do. We're a little bit insane, but that's a whole nother story for another day.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with that 5 voices and us having the same voices. But yeah, something like that. Yeah, I agree completely. This is great. If you all like this, again, we are wrapping up. But if you all enjoyed this, if you got some great info, again, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the Robinhood Capitalist on YouTube. We really do just want to make your life as simplified as possible. We want people to not have a simple life, because life is not simple. It's never simple. Anybody who says their life is simple, they're lying to you, because life is not easy, and not simple. But if we can simplify things and make you understand that we are not here because we're crazy, not here just to be positive and happy all the time, but we really do have the belief that everybody can turn whatever their unique gift is. I think everybody has a unique gift. Everybody has a superpower.
Amen, brother.
That can turn into something. It can be something. So if you do feel like you are just not where you want to be, there's a reason. There's a voice. There's something telling you. So
and there's another way. There is another way. There's a better way.
There's always, listen, never give up hope, because there's always a way. You just haven't found the right door yet. Again, he said he didn't find 3,000. He didn't fail 3,000 times to start the light bulb. He found 3,000 different steps that it took to create the light bulb. So, again, the greatest advice, one of the from Tom Bilyeu, I forget, it was a Harvard study or something, but he had mentioned that one of the biggest things that they found from successful CEOs is associating. And it's just the ability to associate. So connecting dots where other people see differences. And if you can start to connect those things, even if they seem wrong or bad, you're now learning that competitive advantage to be a successful CEO. Now it's just believing that you can do it yourself. And you all have the ability to do it. Everybody does. Everybody has the ability to have anything they want in life. It's what we do with the 24 hours we're given that makes the difference. So, Coach, any last words? And then give a shout out to our guest on Tuesday, David Koch.
Yeah, no, I think you just closed it out really well. That was nicely said.
Perfect. Well, thank you. And so again, thank you everybody for joining us. Again, please, if you're feeling stuck, you're feeling like you just want more out of life, there's something different, don't forget, connect with me and Coach on LinkedIn. We really are here to help. Again, we're probably both the same, so we'll give you a lot of time, and I promise you, no investment probably needed, so don't worry. Just reach out to us, please. We really want to help. I just want to see people genuinely happy in the end, and so our again, like Coach said, you can't always be happy. Me on here, I might seem like I'm always happy. I'm not always happy. I have bad days too. Everybody has bad days. Everybody has things. But to know that you're not here alone in this journey, and you can just find the right good people to surround you. Like I have Coach, like I have everybody out in my circle. That's all you need. So be real with yourself. Learn what you're feeling. And again, the Robinhood Capitalists, we're here really to just help create your heaven on earth, whatever that might be. So have an amazing weekend, y'all. Tuesday, David Koch, Family Locator. Again, this is going to be an amazing episode. Don't miss it. His journey is crazy. I love his story. I've seen a very similar repetitive story. I'm sure Coach will say the same, and probably has some things that tie to it. So it's going to be a great episode. So don't miss. So again, everybody, until Tuesday, Robinhood Capitalist. Remember, feed the good wolf. Feed the good wolf. It might just change that day.
Change your life.
I'm always on the red eye. This time around, it's not even about getting paid. I'm just an